Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for downloading or watching another What Else is Going On, aka We Go podcast podcast episode. I am your girl, your host, Taria. We are going to get into the latest episodes of The Real Housewives of Potomac, season 9, episode 5, A Blast from Everyone's Past. When I tell y'all, I laughed, y'all, from the start uh, to the finish. When I tell you I was cracking up. So I got my notes. Child, we get ready to get into it. All right. Let me pull them up. How y'all doing today? I hope that y'all voted. I hope that you did your due diligence. I hope you let your vote be your voice. I early voted I think it was last week, Monday or Tuesday, I think. Tuesday. I saw the signs riding by the schools today because for those of you that don't know, I do ride share. For those of you that know, I do ride share. So I was out. And yeah, I didn't take anybody to the polls today though. But yeah, let us pray for our country. All right, y'all, let's get into this. So if y'all could see how big I have, because I email myself my notes, y'all can see how big and bold my letters are. But anyway, so we start off. They're at the dinner table from last week. Mia tells everyone that Karen butt dialed her and said butt dialed her and Joy, and these girls think I'm with Ray. Karen said, "Did I do that? I did not do that. Did I do that? Was I drunk?" Mia basically says she brought that up because Karen tried to come for her girl, Jacqueline. Mia said, "You called her a liar." And Karen says, "She is, but go ahead." When I tell you, Karen asked then Karen said, "Were we drinking brown liquor that night?" Um, and then they said, "Yeah." And she confirms that she pulled over and called her driver. Mia said, "But you did get behind the wheel. Then you decided to pull over." So Karen was like, "Right, I did do that." Mia says, "Which is very good, Karen." Mia comes up, very good, Karen. Karen says, "No, that's what I do." Now, this was funny. I have to give it to Mia. Mia says, "Not always." Here we are. In her confessional, Mia says Karen called her drunk the next morning on her way home. So here's what I think about all this from Jacqueline saying it down to Mia now saying it. We've heard for seasons, I think from season 1, maybe 2, but it's been years. Karen gets drunk, calls the ladies, and cusses them out, right? And Mia really wants to belong to this group still. And I don't know if I believe that Karen called me a drunk. Now, here's the thing. She has a track record of doing that to these ladies. Did Karen really consider Jacqueline her friend like that to be comfortable doing that? Like she's known Giselle and Robin and Charisse for years and then even got to know Ashley. Although I don't know if I ever remember Ashley saying Karen did. But I just feel like Mia is incorporating this. She called me the next morning on her way home drunk. Like as in like I'm in with the group and it'll be believable because this is what Karen has done. You know what I mean? So that we know that Karen did what she did as far as the DUI and stuff. But with this Jacqueline situation, I don't know if I necessarily believe Jacqueline. I don't know. It's up in the air. Anyway, so again, Mia says she called her drunk on her way home the next morning. Let's get into it. So in her confessional, Stacey says, oh wait, Ashley says the streets have been alive. She's heard and seen some things with Karen. She believes that Mia and Joy are absolutely telling the truth. In her confessional, Stacey's like, wow. After defending herself about the drunk driving charge, now she has to defend herself at the dinner table. It just won't stop. In her confessional, Wendy said, with friends like this, who needs enemies? And Karen, of course, the grand dame, honey, was in her confessional and says Mia sat on this information for 3 years and thought that this was the time to throw a dagger. Honey, ping, ping, ping. I said, well, okay. Karen says to me, Karen says to me, I like what kind of friend you are, meaning bringing this up because I came after your friend Jacqueline. She said, but that certainly doesn't take away from Jacqueline's lying, her lying behind. Mia says she's been vindicated. She's been vindicated. Now, does Mia actually know what vindication means? Because you saying it doesn't make it true. We would have to hear the call, right? Between Jacqueline and Karen, even if we want to believe it based on Karen's past track record of calling folks drunk, that Karen did do this, that's one thing. But she hasn't been vindicated because there has been no proof. I mean, we're not going to say Jacqueline is the beacon of truth. Jacqueline admitted after her first season that her and Mia basically cooked up some of the story that they did. So you're not necessarily this beacon of truth either. Anyway, Karen says, no, she hasn't, but that was a good try. Wendy said, is the pool heated? I guess she was like, can we move this along, please? Stacy said, Mia, why did you have this in your back pocket for 3 years? Mia says, because she's never called my friend a liar. Joy said, I think it's more because you didn't want to say it and not have anybody there. And I was more or less there with you. So was it more or less, or were you there? Okay. Mia says, and I would have continued to hold it. Just don't mess with me and mine. Girl. Karen tells her to shut up and says, because you and Jacqueline basically tried to pull each other's eyeballs out. Mia says we have. Now, in her confessional, Jacqueline says, Karen took this itty bitty conversation we had and this itty bitty little thing that I said about how she sounded like she was drinking. It's my opinion. She sounded, I told no lies. Here's my thing. Here we are again. Opinions aren't fact-based. You may base your opinion on a fact. Like, for instance, you may see something factually happening in front of you, and you're going to base your opinion off of that because it's your opinion. But it doesn't mean your opinion is fact, right? So Jacqueline saying, I told no lies. Well, according to you, because that was your opinion. But anyway, she says, you want to make me the problem when you clearly have the problems, then do your thing, honey. But I'm not the issue. I'm just the only one that's addressing the elephant in the room. Now, I will say this. We know that Jacqueline said it to Mia. Mia brought it to the hat party for Karen. And then Jacqueline said it to the ladies. You're not necessarily addressing Karen. But it was something that she said to her friend, and your friend, I've been saying, is still playing you a little bit, girl. That's what I think. Karen says, look, there's going to be, in your life, you're going to experience good and bad. But what makes me an okay person is that I own the good and the bad and the indifferent about me. And I've come through a lot. Mia says, has any of the sequence of events that have transpired affected your marriage? How's Ray doing? How's he taking all of this? Karen says, we were going through before. That's why I said to you guys, and Mia cut in and says, before the accident. Karen says, yeah, you have your moments in marriage. And they do the flashback years ago with the relationship coach because she said Ray didn't want to do counseling. And they asked Karen, are you in love with Ray? And she says, yeah, she couldn't see her life without him. They asked Ray the same thing. And he says, I think so. So she said, but he didn't waver, to answer your question. He's my soldier. He's pretty much always had my back. And I love him for that. But we are human and we are going through and we are working on our marriage. Now, in her confessional, Kay says she's not really sure how much basically Karen's problems with Ray impacted her accident. She said, I truly believe that Karen was grieving in that moment. Me and my mom have such a close relationship. I cannot imagine her not being here. So in her defense, it was her grieving her mom. And you don't know what life throws at you at any moment. So Wendy says, okay, so there's 1 hour left in my 30s. Mia says, basically Mia cuts Wendy off unless the way the editing went and was like how much she enjoyed dinner. The ladies are getting up from the table and just, they're all having their own conversations. And you hear Stacy say to Karen, you need a trophy. Karen says, easily. Stacy said, these ladies come for you every 5 minutes. Karen says, easily. It's another story. Karen said, basically, that's why you own your life and you can explain it. They may not like your explanation, but pretty much, oh, well, honey, you own your life. Stacy says, I'm learning from you, girl. We get to Mia, Jacqueline, and Ashley. They're all sitting outside like 30 minutes before Dr. Wendy turns 40. And Wendy says, Mia, you were Jacqueline, not Wendy. I'm sorry. What's her name? Ashley. I be trying to say her name a lot. That's why I slipped my mind. Anyway, Ashley says, Mia, you were Jacqueline's MVP. So Mia is like, basically she had to be there for her girl because she doesn't like when someone calls anybody close to her a liar. You know how people have those things like, oh, this is what flips my switch, and the people around them know, oh, don't go there with her, that flips her switch. This is how I feel like Mia is trying to be like, yeah, when somebody calls somebody close to me a liar, like, no, that's what it seems like. Girl, shut up. Anyway, Jacqueline says she doesn't deserve to be called a liar. Mia says, um, especially with something that's silly and little. She just admitted that she left the restaurant, you guys. And Jacqueline chimes in and says, drunk. That was funny. And that was a point for Mia. Mia asked, do you think Karen is going to be pissed off tomorrow? Like she's going to go to sleep and she's going to wake up and she's probably going to be pissed at me. And Ashley says, you think so? Mia said, yeah, because that's her track record. And um, Ashley says, when Joy gets home, basically, like she's going to do it when Joy gets home, not in front of Joy. She says she's going to go home and she's going to go in the vault. Mia says she's probably calling her bloggers now saying, what do we have on Mia? Girl, because that's what they all do. Y'all, we got 15 minutes left until Dr. Wendy's birthday. And we see Stacy outside FaceTiming TJ. He says, hi, princess. And let me go. He doesn't say it like that. He says, hi, princess. Let me not do voices. He says, what you doing? Look at you in that orange. And she says, it's your favorite color. So he's like, how's it going? She said, it's going well. Everyone's asking about you. He said, oh, really? Are you sharing more since I said I want you to lean in to the camaraderie that they offer? And if they're asking about me, I want you to share. They show a flashback to them on the boat, the ladies where Stacy talks about their celibacy. So then TJ says, that's what it's about. You're doing what we talked about. Wendy opens the door and Stacy says, hi. Wendy says, hey. Stacy says to TJ, you want to say happy birthday to the birthday girl to Wendy. So Wendy gets on and meets TJ and is FaceTiming. Wendy, this is TJ. TJ, this is Wendy. They say hi. Wendy tells them it's nice to finally put a face to a name and to treat her good because we love her. So you see some of the ladies inside, the rest of the ladies, and Jazzy's walking through. And she comes outside and she says hi to TJ and tells him that they've heard only the greatest things about him. He says, oh, I actually have to say thank you for taking care of her. In her confessional, Wendy says, they give me the virgin couple that met at Vacation Bible School. Like, take me out the group chat. So back in the scene, Stacy tells TJ that she has to go. And he says, because I heard somebody say, he didn't even say, I love you back. Actually, he says first, I love you. I miss you. I know you ain't going to say it, but I did. Bye-bye. See you later. They laugh. She says, I miss you too. And I love you. Bye. They go in. Everybody's sitting around. Child, they look tired. Like some of them got their phones. Ashley sitting up there in her silk pajamas. Like she in a TLC video. She was cute though, but like she was in a TLC video. And they basically, Karen says when she turned 40, they was having a party at her house. They were getting down, full band dancers. She said, PJs? Like everybody sitting around in PJs? Yep, not sure how this 40th is going to go, but I'm rooting for you, Wendy. I'm rooting for you. So Ashley says, any last words before you make your way into the 40 club? So Wendy gets up. The professor gets up and says, I just want to thank everybody to say thank you. Wait a minute. I would just like to say every birthday in her adulthood, she traveled out of the country. She thought this year was going to suck because she wasn't able to do what she normally would do. But hands down, this birthday is going to go in her books basically as one of the best ones. She just thanked them all for really thinking about her showing up. She was still talking, child. Ashley started counting down. They did happy birthday. They was dancing. Y'all see the way Mia was dancing, trying to dance up on Dr. Wendy? I said, there's. Anyway, now we're at day 2 at Lake Norman. Child. Mia is out by the pool. Jacqueline comes out and says, I'm here to take care of you. And Mia thanks her. Mia asks Jacqueline how she's feeling. Is she good? Jacqueline says yesterday was a lot for her. Girl, we know. We can see it. And you don't even know what's coming. Child. She said Karen is just a tough bag at this point. And then they show Karen on a swing. So as Jacqueline is moving hair off of Mia's shoulder, Mia saying she woke up this morning and Gordon is firing off a bunch of text messages. And it's always when she leaves and goes somewhere. She says he's upset about a post from April. And his text that Mia is reading us because we don't see it. Just putting that out there. All these texts that she gonna read us, we don't see it. She showed Jacqueline, but we already know how that goes. They're gonna have each other back. But anyway, he says, I can't remember a time I've been so hurt and felt so used in all my life. Mia said she responds back to Gordon, I have not used you. I love you. Things just became too challenging, and you know all the reasons why, but I have not left your side. She says to Jacqueline, I really have not. And Jacqueline says, no, you haven't left his side. She said, you guys literally live in the same building. Now, in her confessional, Jacqueline says Mia is very spoiled and Mia likes Gordon to wait on her hand and foot. He has done that since the first date and he still does it today. But if Mia wants to get this relationship going with Ink and make it permanent, I feel like she needs to kind of cut the umbilical cord and call it quits because, honey, it was the stupidest decision to move in the same vicinity. I mean, Mia says that Gordon also asked if Ink was going to be in Charlotte. And then Gordon says, basically, he just has a hard time believing anything they say at the moment. So Jacqueline is like, what are you saying to him? And Mia says, I'm not saying anything. Jacqueline says, are you telling him you love him? Mia says, I do. Well, today I did. Jacqueline says, yeah, I heard you say that. Mia says, I do. I do say that. And it's okay. It's like I tell you I love you. Girl, you know that is not the same. Jacqueline says, no, what you need to stop. Well, you need to stop saying that because for somebody who's not over you yet, you need to tread very lightly with the words, that you're using because he may be thinking second chance. He wants to get you back. That's why I'm thinking that him staying around you guys and doing things with you, basically, Ink and the kids, y'all need to separate that for now. Mia says she tried, and Jacqueline is basically like, well, girl, try harder because it's probably hard for him. Mia says he wants to be around, and then when he's around, he's like, that's too much for me. So now in her confessional, I just feel like every time I watch Mia, I just have to take things with a grain of salt or hurt my brain trying to see if she's telling the truth. And that's the dangers of coming on reality TV, lying out the gate and being okay with Mia be lying. Like what? Anyway, Mia said in her confessional that she's dealing with someone whose mania. Am I saying that right, y'all? Basically, like the manic episodes, my brain is a train that's derailed, but it doesn't stop. It just keeps going and just keeps making more destruction. She said, I'm following guidelines from a professional, and the number one guidelines you have when you're dealing with someone who has bipolar, this is what she said, who has bipolar, is to support them and to make them know that they're not alone. And if he wants to be, oh, excuse me, y'all. It feels so late. And if he wants to be close, allow him to be close. He just can't be with me. Child. Then she shows Jacqueline another text and says, Gordon says, you're at my side. I'm beginning to believe you're keeping me close to make your life easy. Jacqueline says, I kind of agree with that. Mia says, well, he's the father of my kids. I said, that's plural. He's the father of your kids. Oh, so we have now abandoned the first couple episodes storyline about him possibly not being Jeremiah's father. We just let that go. Okay. Mia says it's not about making my life easier. I can hire a nanny. Jacqueline says, I think you should. Mia then reads more text and says, your posts make me question a lot of things in our life. Basically, they talk about, Jacqueline is like, well, you need to relegate him to nanny status because you're paying for everything. You're funding everything. So basically, he is the nanny. Bravo pays Mia $200 and a box of Botox for every episode. Like, and her bonus is a lip plumper. Girl, you are not paying. Let me shut up. She might be paying. She may. She may. She may. We see Angel and Adora's cap and gown ceremony. It looked beautiful. I feel, Giselle, I understand how that feels. I went through that, and whoo, it's like your heart is definitely being ripped out of your chest. It was beautiful. I saw Jamal there. I even saw them show his dad. It was kind of blurred. It was nice. Giselle is a good mom. Next, they all sit down to breakfast. Child, when I saw that breakfast, I absolutely love grits. One of my favorite breakfast foods. I love grits. Girl, when I saw that, I was like, I want me some grits so bad, like that breakfast. All the ladies except Karen, I believe, get mimosas. Ashley asks Wendy if she has any bucket list things she wants to do in her 40s. And she said, jump out of a plane. Ashley has already jumped out of a plane with Michael in 2012. She said they had a good time in the air and on the ground. Ashley, come on. Do Ashley and Karen's short wigs look alike in the confessional to you? And aren't they both in blue with them wigs on? Do they both have on gloves too? Maybe Karen don't have on gloves. But when I seen it, I said, I think their wigs is kind of sort of similar. Anyway, so Wendy asked Mia, what do they have in store for the rest of the day? Child, Mia said they can lay around until, but then they need to be ready by 1 because she wants to take them to Dr. McDaddy's office. Basically, the doctor's office she opened. I guess it's like a chiropractor. Child, the way everybody was looking like, excuse me, Dr. Daddy. Child, Karen said, does he have, what'd you say? Little McHo with him? Girl, Karen is on one and she ain't getting off no time soon. Wendy's phone rings and she says, oh, it's my new best friend, Giselle. And it was a FaceTime. Giselle called her to FaceTime her happy birthday. She's at the airport on her way back. They talk, laugh, haha. Karen, I mean, Wendy's like, all right, look, be back safe. How were the girls' cap and gown ceremony? How are you? Get back safe. You can sing and dance to me then. Karen says, you have come a long way. And Wendy agrees. And she says, this is how she wants her 40s to be. Basically being able to move forward and zen. Child Jacqueline, here she go. Jacqueline chimes in and says, yeah, it's like being able to forgive and move forward. Mind you, she's sitting directly next to Karen. I said, oh my God. Jacqueline says, because when you hold grudges and don't let things go, that's only going to keep you bitter, nasty, and mean. Wendy was me this entire thing. She was like, oh. Mia says, when you hold grudges, it makes you a bitter old bitch. Stacy, I said, come on, Stacy, jump on in. Stacy said, are you talking about Karen? Ashley said, Jacqueline, are you alluding to anything? Jacqueline says, no, I'm not. Jacqueline says, no, I'm not talking about Karen. I'm just talking in general. In her confessional, Karen says, I'm not having fun. First, I have to find out Jacqueline. Oh, first she had to basically fight Jacqueline. And then Mia comes out her with a 3-year story. She thought she had been, she thought she was on top of my alleged situation. But I'm going to let me go back. Here we go. First, she said she got to fight Jacqueline. Then Mia basically comes out with this 3-year story and then add all that on top of her alleged situation. Now, Karen, the situation ain't alleged. Now, let's be clear. You basically wrote your name. You know how when people carve a heart on a tree, like if I were to do before I was married, my maiden name was Walker. So TW loves CF for Corey Faison. Karen, you basically did that, but with your car into the tree. It's not alleged. She said, but I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to meditation. I'm going to make it through and I'm going home. Kay says, I think Karen needs a GD break this morning because after last night, Jazzy says, I was going to say, I'm so over the Karen conversation. Karen says to Mia, not a throwback, not a 3-year throwback, honey. I'm still gagged this morning. And I wonder if somebody tried to stop Kay from continuing on talking to Mia about that. Because she says, okay, no, it was 3 years, 3 years, Mia. And then she says, I was proud of you, Karen, because that was a little low to me. Mia says, remember, this is boot camp. This is how you do boot camp, like girlfriend's boot camp. Karen says, when you own who you are and you're walking in your truth, you're good to go. I'm good to go. Mia said, I think Karen was just proud, basically like proud of her for pulling that out of her pocket, which is almost like a backhanded compliment because, oh, this is what you do, Karen, and you taught me well. She says, Mia said, I think Karen was just proud. She's taught me, actually, she probably saying she taught me well. And Kay said, she definitely taught you well. Mia said, she sent me through boot camp and I got my flute, but we're working on yours. Basically saying, now I'm sending you through boot camp. No, Mia, you ain't sending nobody through boot camp. But in the housewives world, I get it. She says, I got my flute, but we're working on yours. Kay says, you wanted a flute. You needed a flute. I don't. I'm happy as a friend. Because I had to go back like 3 times, and I'm pretty sure she said that. If y'all heard something different, let me know. She said, I'm happy as a friend. Let's be clear. Mia said, no, she didn't need one. Let's be clear. Kay said, are you sure? Are you sure? Because that triangle is very interesting. Mia says, I'm 1,000%. But let's talk about your drug dealer boyfriend. Kay says, oh, what drug dealer? What drug dealer? Which one? I said, well, come on, Kay. She ain't say I've never. She said, what drug dealer? What drug dealer? Which one? Ashley says, I mean, the rumor has gone around. People have said that someone you dated, I don't know if it's now or in the past that you dated a drug dealer. Ashley, rumors have gone around about Michael, but you ain't want to talk about him. You wanted to shut folks down and he wanted to sue. Let's not. Girl, please. Anyway, Casey says, well, Casey, Lord, because in my notes, I've used speak to text and I said, Kay says, but it came up Casey. Kay says, well, the man I'm with now is a clinical social worker. Mia says, the one in the past. Oh, Mia says, what about the one in the past? So Kay says, okay, so what's your past? Mia says, oh, I'm a stripper. I was an ex-stripper turned entrepreneur turned self-made millionaire child. Kay says, I love all entrepreneurs. I love all entrepreneurs, always have. I'm enjoying this exchange. Mia says, I didn't have to go to the streets. I said, now wait a minute. 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 You didn't have to go to the streets. Can I tell you something, y'all? I had to. I took my little phone out. I said, now wait, because what? At least I didn't have to go to the streets. I had to send a little tweet, y'all. I said, hold on. Mia told Kay, at least I didn't have to go to the streets. Imagine if Kay came back and said, girl, you've been living pillar to post from high school till now and on your fourth place to lay your head in 3 years. Girl, your relationship and life, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, stay looking like 5 miles of bad road. Girl, the streets. I know you. Anyway, Kay says, that's about as street as you can get, baby. In her confessional, Stacy says, I just don't know what is I just don't know what is going on. I think the only reason Kay called Mia a stripper was because she called her man a drug dealer. Who knows what's true? Well, I mean, it's true. Mia was a stripper, right? She was a stripper. Oh, okay. Well, and then she just starts laughing, girl. And then I'm laughing. I was laughing at the exchange. I'm not laughing at them. I said, how many Moses had they had before while they had to wait for the camera people to set up? Because they are going in. So Mia said, oh my God. And this is not funny, but Mia says, so you know about the street and that forehead stitch, you know about the street stitches and goes like, if y'all are watching, you see me waving my finger, but if you're not, Mia kind of did stitches like down her forehead. Kay said, oh, you weren't that far when you assaulted Wendy, so keep it cute. Keep it cute. The face, glass. I said, oh, come on, glass. In her confessional, Wendy, looking beautiful as a butterfly, says to call someone Stitches who went through a traumatic experience at last year's GNA event and then to use that name in a mocking type of way, yeah, that's low. So in the scene, Mia says, I'm just stating a fact. Here go Jacqueline. We don't harp on people's past. Girl, did you take a nap? Wendy said, we don't harp on people's past. Say that to your friend. Pointing to Mia. Jacqueline says, what do you mean? Wendy said, Mia is the one who brought up who she used to date, talking about Kiarna. Jacqueline says, oh, okay, girl. I said, Jacqueline, sit this one out. I need you to actually sit here and just eat your food, and that's it. Because you've already been worn out a couple times now by Karen. Girl, I don't know if you're up for a third, but you're going to get it. Child. So Mia's representative, because remember when Candace called her, what are you, Mia's representative? In the words of our good sis Candace. So Wendy said, you see what I'm saying? Jacqueline says, I thought she initiated it. And Wendy said, no, Mia started it, I guess, about the past. because Kay did address Mia first when she brought up the whole, I think Karen needs a break, because she could have stopped there. I think Karen needs a break after last night. It was a lot, but she didn't stop there. She then addressed Mia. So we could say that, but then Mia admits to starting it later. So let me see. Where was I, child? Because so Jacqueline says, I thought she initiated, and Wendy said no. Mia started, and Mia says, I sure did. Jazzy said, well, guys, because I guess Jazzy said, look, I got to say something, make my presence known. So Jazzy said, well, guys, I've heard that you've ruined enough birthdays already. So we're redoing the birthdays as far as I'm concerned. And today is Wendy's birthday. We want her to have a great 40th from start to finish. Child, here come Ashley. Ashley says, okay, can I ask a question? Did you have a scar on your forehead? Kay said, yes, I do. I still have one. I do. And I still have one. And you, of all people, asking me about a GD scar. And she gets up to leave. She gets upset. Ashley basically tries to play it like she's asking her because, she said she had a skin line. And I want to know what products she used because basically she's trying to say the scar is not there. Kay goes off and tells her, don't ask me about my scar. And Ashley screaming, okay. She said, you can say that, girl. Okay. As Mia saying, if you can't, don't, Mia said, don't dish it if you can't take it. Ashley says, I just asked what she used to get rid of it. That's all. Let me finish this. Jazzy says, Ashley, do you wear glasses? Ashley said, no, I didn't see anything. Jazzy says, well, look at her. If you actually looked at her head, you would see the scar. Ashley said, I do look at her head. I didn't see it. And Jazzy looked at her like, girl, please. Wendy goes to check on Kay. Kay is crying. And so Kay is basically says to Wendy, I don't give a F about Mia. Oh, child, my alarm, sorry, y'all. Wendy says, I'm sorry, Mia. Lord Jesus, come back. Kay and Wendy are talking. And Kay says, I don't give a F about Mia and her little antics. Ashley shouldn't be asking me anything about my face. She just shouldn't be. Wendy hugs her, and she was actually really crying. In her confessional, Kay says, Ashley, why are you talking to me about my scar? Like, you clearly know the cause of my scar is your ex-friend. You shouldn't even be mentioning anything about my face. You should actually just shut the F up. See, now I wish that's what she had said at the table. I wish that's the attitude she should have had at the table. Like, you of all people don't get to ask me, Nathan, nothing about this scar on my head. And she could even went further. I mean, you had already set your little friends up to come there and cause ruckus anyway. Then I end up getting in the middle of it. Your friend don't get to ask, or your friends end up pulling me. However, she could have. I just wish she had had that energy, but I also understand that she was triggered, and it just hit her, like that. Especially because they're in a lawsuit. So that's what I wanted to say. Around this time, they're still in it now, but they were also in the lawsuit then. And in her lawsuit, Kiana is stating she has basically Deborah damaged her. She has a permanent, not damage, but caused harm that can't be fixed. And she has a scar. My thought was Ashley's bringing that up on camera, saying about the scar to kind of discredit Kiana's case. Because that was weird to me. Why are you trying to insist that you don't see a scar when that is like a main point in Kiana's lawsuit? Ashley, you ain't slick. Anyway, she says, Kay tells Wendy, this is a very serious situation that happened to me. I live with the form of a scar every single day, okay? So back out at the table, Stacy says, Mia, we were just in your company with your friends last night, and they were elevating you, and it was so beautiful. Child, Mia sitting there with them lips, eating. She said, can we please try to keep that spirit this morning? And this is as Kay and Wendy are walking back to the table. She says, can we just keep the spirit positive and like this morning? Because you guys, seriously, it's a lot. Kay says, I plan on having fun, and I still plan on having fun. She then turns to Ashley and says, however, Ashley, as for you asking me anything about my face and any scar that I have or any other personal thing, it is totally effing off limits to you. I said, okay. Girl. Jacqueline tries to insert herself again. Like, how did this even come up? I'm confused. Kay says, "Are you okay?" How did you hear Wendy laughing? Jacqueline says, "You're not okay." Girl, then Stacy's laughing. They all say happy birthday, Wendy. So Karen says, "Can I be a little messy?" Cha. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. What's the narrative? Because we get ready to get into some. She says, "Can I be a little messy?" How do I say this? Then she says, "Jacqueline, aren't you trying to work it out with Mr. PP?" Jacqueline says, "At this very moment, we are moving in a positive direction in terms of our co-parenting and with our co-parenting with our children and as well as our relationship collectively." Karen butts in and says, "So that was after the 25 convictions. Did you stand by him?" Girl, the table was like, "Girl, what?" Karen says he was charged and fired. In her confessional, Jacqueline says it was an internal investigation within the police department. They were not like public criminal offenses or anything like that. He ended up losing his position. He's moved past that and now has a new position now as a police officer. So it's quite funny to me that Karen had to dig up some old information when she has current allegations and convictions currently going on in her life. Now, I will say this, just because he got a job at another police division, excuse me, that don't mean nothing, child. That don't mean he was innocent, because that don't mean he was innocent. But I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying that. In her confessional, uh, Karen says, "Jacqueline has been nothing but an enemy to me this year. Things that are not factual about my life, and I responded by spewing facts about her life." Karen says, so Karen then says to Jacqueline in the scene, "Did you stick by him while he was going through?" Jacqueline said, "I did." Karen said, "Well, I was told you left him because of those 25 charges." Girl. In her confessional, Mia Garretho, her friend under the bus again, says Jacqueline stood by that man. She rebuilt that man, and she got hurt by that man, and that man hurt her again, and she still stood by that man. So she's loyal. So at the table, Wendy says, "So hold on, Mia. You were here trying to point out that my friend dated a drug dealer, but your best friend has 25 convictions." Then she like gets up, and the people at the table are like, "No, no, not Jacqueline, but her dude." And Mia's like, "You need to get your facts straight." Karen says, Jacqueline, you need to wait. Karen says that, "Jacqueline, you need to talk to me because that was a miraculous recovery last night, when you were saved, when your best friend supposedly saved you by throwing me under the bus." In her confessional, Ashley says that's a tactic that she's seen Karen do quite a few times, even against me. It's to take the attention off of her, which they've all done it at some point. Ashley, I know you've done it at some point, but I also agree. This is what Karen is doing, child. Karen said, "I'm swinging y'all from Lake Norman back to Potomac." Child. So Ashley says Karen will basically come out fighting, and she has like the fighting, um, child. And she says Karen has her boxing gloves out. In Karen's confessional, she's sitting there in boxing gloves and said, "There's only so many times you can put me up against the ropes, and I'm a swing, and I'm a swing again, and I'm a swing again. Don't F with me, child." In the scene, Jacqueline says because he was a police officer and because he had different counts that happened to him in a very racist police department. It literally happened like 6 or 7 years ago. Ashley says everybody has a past. Wendy says, "Oh, so now everybody has a past." Now everybody has a past. So Stacy and Jazzy and Wendy are like, "Oh, so now everybody has a past." So Ashley says, "Okay, y'all." Cha, she ain't got nothing to say. She ain't got nothing to say. Jacqueline says to Karen, "I can't believe you would bring up someone that's not even here at this table. You came for the father of my children." By this time, she had moved and sat next to Mia. "You're a horrible person to bring up something that," and then Karen cuts her off and says, "Oh, no, I'm sorry. Jacqueline hadn't got up and moved yet." Karen cuts her off and says, "You're white and pure as the snow. Get the F out of here." Child, Wendy has me crying. The way Wendy is at this table, y'all, I'm crying. Jacqueline is starting to get up. That's when she gets up and says, literally said one thing to you, Karen, and you took it to a whole nother level. Karen says, "You have not said anything to me. You went around defaming me." And you thought it wouldn't get back to me, but I am well respected in this group and I have heard everything you have said. Jacqueline says, well respected. Karen says, yes. And Jacqueline says, with 2 DUIs. Karen says, I don't have 2 DUIs, dingbat. I said, next level now, turn it up a notch. Come on. In her confessional, Stacy says, clearly Jacqueline has pushed Karen to the edge because now she's talking about other people's court cases. And right now, I feel like it's kind of justified. Accusing someone of being drunk when they are literally fighting for their life and their reputation and their freedom about a court case that involves drunk driving, you're poking the bear. Come on, Jacqueline, you started it. Child Jacqueline flung that hair over her shoulders when she was sitting next to me and says, you are a low down dirty shame, honey. Low down and dirty like Keenan. Mm-hmm. Karen says, oh no, I'm God's I'm God's baby and I don't start it. I finish it. Jacqueline starts to say there's nothing godly. And Karen says it's defamation of character to talk about stuff about me that you don't know that you don't know ish about. Jacqueline is trying to say basically it's defamation to talk about a man that's not at this table. Wendy says, but y'all were talking about her ex-boyfriend, pointing to Kay. But now it's defamation. Mia just waves her hands and don't say nothing. Wendy gets up again and says, and now it's defamation. Wendy said, it doesn't work that way, sweetheart. I said, oh, Jacqueline is one going through boot camp. Mia said it was Kay and Stacy. No. Anyway, so everyone knows, wait a minute. Mia can't say anything. Wendy says it don't work that way, sweetie. Ashley says, to be fair, she loves saying that, don't she? She need to put them on a pair of yoga pants. To be fair, we didn't say anyone's name, but everyone knows who we're talking about here. And she's pointing to Jacqueline. Like, in other words, everybody knows PP, who we're talking about with Jacqueline. Girl, Wendy says, shut up. I said, come on, Wendy. Wendy says, shut up. Then she tells Ashley again, shut up. Ashley gets up. Wendy says, shut your up. Ashley is basically telling Wendy to stop yelling and calm down. Wendy says, shut up. Ashley screams, okay, you shut up. Wendy says, you're behind. She don't say behind, but you know what I mean. She said, you're behind and showing, you're behind and showing. Stacy yells and says, it is her birthday. Show some respect. Wendy said, it's my birthday. Meanwhile, at the other end of the table, Jacqueline is saying to me, I'm done. Jazzy said, oh, let me get in on this. Done with who, Karen? And she says, absolutely, that was low. Jacqueline says, that was some low-ish. Karen says, I'm good. Jacqueline says, because that's one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fight for the people who I love. And I love Patrick and he didn't deserve that. Karen said, you thought just because I'm a nice person, you could F with me. Don't do it. Jacqueline is saying, Patrick has always told me to leave Karen alone, but I love Karen. Karen said, oh, I'm sorry. Karen says, oh, sure. Patrick talks to you. Y'all, that was funny. And I love Patrick. She said, oh, sure. Patrick talks to you. Girl, the way the table, I thought the whole table fell out, but then I know I definitely heard Wendy. Finally, Wendy says, can we do a toast? Karen laughs and says, to what? Wendy said, let us toast to this being a good day. Let us toast to this being the low of the day. And we're only going to go up from here. And let us toast to happiness and the World Wide Web. Wendy said, y'all are something. So in the kitchen area, Jazzy says to Kay, hey, girl, what's tea? And Karen was standing in there too. And Kay says, tea is Ashley knows how I feel about my face. Then I got what looks like rocks has been thrown. Then I got what looks like has been rocks thrown at her face, talking to me about a scar. Is she okay? Jazzy was like, wait, who did what? Kay said, basically, somebody that looks like she had rocks thrown at her face I don't know to talk about my scar. She goes, talking about Mia. I'm sorry. This episode was just like it was comic relief to me. I said, the girls, it's all working. They try, honey. They try. Even the new ones. Ooh, girl. Jazzy was like, oh, okay. Jacqueline is then saying to Ashley, the fact that she keeps throwing salt about something that she's having issues with, talking about Karen, is really sad. Like, are you really that angry, or are you just angry with yourself? Meanwhile, Karen is now talking to the other lady saying, I don't relish doing what I did. I don't relish doing what I did, but I did what I had to do. Um, and I had to do it. Stacy says, your hands were forced. Karen says, my thing is this: I don't start it, I finish it. Wendy says, and she couldn't handle it. She was squirming and she got up. She moved to a different seat. Stacy said she could not even sit next to you. Jacqueline, um, like Karen says, but we're better than Jacqueline's behavior towards me in this circle. Girl, you didn't reached into her Shirley Temple curls, shifted her around, and now is like, we need to be better than the way Jacqueline is treating me. Karen is something else. She said, I don't throw rumors up, I throw facts. All this is black and white. So then we have Jacqueline talking to Mia and Ashley, saying it's internal, it's all issues. She's deflecting her issues, basically trying to make it seem like her issues aren't as paramount as they are. Mia said, like, Karen said he has 25 counts. And Jacqueline said, no, there's no 25. Mia was like, and she has 8 and we can read it. Mia pulls up all the counts. Jacqueline says, but yeah, I'm the dingbat, honey. You're the dingbat. I think Ashley said, I'm scared for y'all. In her confessional, Ashley says, with her case coming up, clearly Karen is getting really upset with Jacqueline because Jacqueline is being an investigative journalist and is trying to get to the bottom of what happened. And Karen just doesn't want to answer any questions. Whereas the rest of the group have sort of eased up a bit because they've all had something that they wanted the group to ease up on. Mm-hmm. Jacqueline didn't get that memo. So basically, Ashley's like, look, the rest of us eased up because we've all had issues brought to this group that we wanted the group to ease up on, but Jacqueline didn't get the memo. Child, Mia is telling the girls that she wants Karen to basically just say she was drinking and driving. She's not going to do that because it's an active criminal case. Even though we all know she was, she's not going to do that because that could harm her case. Because remember, at this time, she was trying to get the courts to throw the case out. The court hadn't denied it yet because the court denied it in June. And they're filming in May. So, yeah. Well, they were filming. So, Karen is telling Wendy and Stacy and the girls, I don't want you guys taking a page out of my book because, you know, she's the grand dame. I really don't. But if you ever have to defend yourself, fight fire with fire, okay? Did you have that same school of thought when Candace was on? I'm only asking. Maybe she felt like Candace's fire was too high. I don't know. But that is a good point. I always say, look, you can't dictate someone's response to you. So if they come for Karen or Ashley or me or Wendy or Jazzy or Kay or Stacey, you can't dictate their response. But, you know, Wendy said, welcome to the school, ladies. Welcome to, this is the school of the Grand Dame. Stacy says, lesson learned. Wendy says, I just want to enjoy my birthday. So Stacy goes in with Jacqueline, Ashley, and Mia and says, so why does everybody have a hard on for Karen? Mia says, no, we don't. Stacy says she's hurt. Mia says, we need Karen to own up to her issues. And then she says, you got to be careful what you're defending, and shows Stacy all the charges. She says, this is what you're defending. Is this what you stand for? Stacy says, I didn't know anything about this. Now, in her confessional, Stacy says, wow, I mean, charge after charge after charge. We're talking not only about injuring yourself, but being on the road and perhaps hurting or killing other people. And they were putting up Karen's charges as they were saying that. She said, is this drinking issue really an issue? I don't know. So then with the groups, I'm sorry, with Mia, Jacqueline, and what's the girl's name? Ashley, Stacy says, you're bringing it up to say you're concerned about her. Stacy says, I don't want to tear Karen down. And the other ladies are trying to say that's why they brought it up because they're concerned, basically not tearing her down. They're concerned. Mia says she feels like they need to take Karen to rehab. I said, girl. And again, it goes back to something that was said on earlier seasons when Cherie said that Karen went to rehab before and her girlfriends broke her out. I wonder if this is Mia's way of just basically trying to prove or be like, yeah, we're like almost regurgitating a real life event for the show. Like, let's take Karen to rehab. I hope I'm explaining that right. You know what I mean? But so Stacy said rehab. Mia said, yeah, we think she needs help. Stacy and Ashley are like, child, I can't take. Ashley's like, nope, I'm getting ready to go. Stacy says, oh, I can't. I don't know how I feel about this. She walked out to Karen, and Karen's got these sunglasses on and says, Karen, can I please talk to you? So Karen can see that Stacy looks concerned about something. So she's like, what's going on? What happened? What's wrong? Kay walks by and says, what happened? Stacy says, I'm so disturbed by the conversation that I just had with Mia and Jacqueline. I defended you, and they brought up screenshots, case after case about you. And they were telling me, Karen says that's public information, and these are the allegations that I can't talk about. They were saying that I need to be so Stacy says they were saying I need to be concerned about who I defend. Let me be clear. I will always defend you because I know who you are. But they're basically telling me not to stand up for you. Karen says, first of all, let me put you at ease because, she got her ground down on. Those are allegations. Okay. I'm not angry that they did that. That was public information and the court will have their day. Karen says, but it's I'm sorry. Stacy says, but it's deeper than that. Jacqueline and Mia are saying that we need to take you to rehab and that you admitted that you wanted to go to rehab for alcoholism. Should I be worried about you? Girl, the faces Karen was making, and child, the episode goes off. I am actually looking forward to Sunday and the episode to see where we go from here. Did y'all enjoy Potomac? Have y'all been enjoying Potomac? I'm telling you, that breakfast table alone was enough it made me crack up laughing and also wore me out. All right, y'all, let me know what y'all think about the episode. Are y'all watching? Are y'all looking forward to the rest of the season? I love y'all so much, and I will talk to you later. See ya.